Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. Let's see. Who's Gen X? Give me a show of hands, right? Okay. Do I got any boomers? I love boomers. I was raised by a boomer. I ain't got no problems with that. Okay. So Gen Z, right? Oh, they're lazy. That's what everybody says. They're lazy. They don't want to work. And this guy, he's back here. He's working. He ain't got no problems, right? So I think the stereotype of they're lazy, they don't want to do anything, they just want to play on their phones is 100% wrong. Okay, they're a product of their environment. All right, so let's go and look at where history has kind of taken us rapidly the past 20 years, but really even from when I was born and computers were kind of introduced, like I was really the first kind of generation to come up with technology even being a thing around all the time. So you used to have to go to school and you wanted to do a paper, right? You got to go to the library. You got to go to the card catalog. You got to flip through it. You got to then walk and find the book using the Dewey Decimal System. Get the book, read the book, take the notes, transfer the notes into some kind of a paper. We got like 5 steps, 6, 7 steps to get from point A to point B. Now, my son wants to know something. He's sitting on the couch. The smart device is in the kitchen and he just yells at it and it starts spitting out information to him. So are they lazy? I don't think so, right? Everything's been taken away from them to make hard work a thing. There hasn't been a struggle. There has been no reason to have a work ethic. So now we can just immediately get access to anything we want with little to no effort. And you couple that with children are being raised in a society that wants to reward mediocrity. So, hey, good, you did the baseball team, you came and you did this tournament. Here's a trophy. Here's a trophy. Here's a trophy. It's not for first, second, third. It's not for putting in the effort to compete at the highest level. It's, hey, you tried, so here you go, right? And then us as flooring installers, retailers, whatever, we want this generation to come in and work for us, and we're using systems in place from how we were raised, and that ain't going to work because it doesn't connect. You're not getting a child that's, well, they're still a kid, but right, they're 18, 19, 24 years old coming in, they want this job, they're looking for something, but really in my mind, you're getting someone that's like 5 to 8 years old because they don't have that work ethic. They haven't had someone instill in them what it means to go and try to learn and grow, and you have to put in, X amount to get out Y, and there's a reward at the end of the tunnel because everything is instant. The best example I have is my son is now 13. So at 2, I don't pay for cable. I never have. I'm just frugal like that. But here's a computer hooked up to the TV. Here, son, have YouTube. Right? He can click around. He can pick any video he wants. He can, click here, click there. It says skip ad. He learns real quick. He can skip the ad. He's only got to watch it for 5 seconds. And he's on to the next thing. And then if he doesn't like a video, he's clicking on another one or another one or another one and skip. And so it's just quick, quick, quick. 3.5 years old, we take him up to Wisconsin. We're hanging out at Grandma's house. Grandma's got cable. I want to watch this show. It's not on, son. It's not the way the schedule works. You can't just on-demand anything you want. Has a fit. I want this show. It's not on. You can have this show, or this show. Well, okay, that one. So he starts watching it. Commercial break. 3 minutes of no, I can't skip it. I'm stuck with it. It took him the weekend of staying with Grandma to get used to this concept of I have to sit through this, okay? And now everything has to be so fast with him and my daughter because we can't keep them engaged. And you bring in TikTok now, or YouTube Shorts, or Instagram Reels, or whatever, right? It's content limited to a minute. I used to be able to sit through a 3-minute commercial break. Even I struggle now if I can't like skip the YouTube video after 5 seconds and it makes me watch the 15-second ad. I want to click, I want to go. Come on, give me what I want now. And you try and place somebody into a field where you can't necessarily have it now. And we're expecting them to behave in a way that we were brought up, and we had more patience, and we had to work to get to the end result. That's not the way it is anymore. And so if we don't adapt, then we're going to put ourselves out of business, and we're already struggling for installers. So we need to go and figure out how to make all of this work. And the good news is that at least from an installation perspective, what we do is very rewarding. I can go rip out carpet in a house and the homeowner's thanking me. Oh my gosh, it looks so great. I'm glad that's gone. It was so ugly and cruddy. And then you start putting down their floor. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. You throw up the baseboards. Oh, wow, it just really completes it. And so within our industry, there's a lot of instant gratification moments that you can get those dopamine hits. And that's really what they're after, is everything's an instant dopamine hit. And so we have to tailor the experience to how do we get them to get these dopamine hits and learn that it's okay to put forth effort and work with them to build that work ethic of I can have something more. There's a stipulation of, they've been told college. You got to go to college. You can't do anything without college. Well, that's a lie, because now everyone in the trades is suffering. And so we're going to have a shift 180 back the other way. But, and if we start saying you can't go to college and all you have to become tradespeople, we're going to put ourselves in a world of hurt that way. So there needs to be some kind of balance, and we need to do a better job of getting out and reaching them, because the children aren't even seeing us. So how do you expect them to know we're a thing and want to come into our industry to where they can even work with us when we're not getting in front of them? I can drive down the road and I can see the road construction worker. I can see a person framing a house. I can see the exterior paint getting done in a building community, right? I can see a lot of things happening on the outside. Once the walls go up and the finished trades hit, that's not even an option. So we have to go to where they are. You need to get in front of them. And I don't know what that looks like for you. Can you team up with a couple of other installers and get in front of them and start showing them how amazing our trade is in middle school, high school? You work with them for a few years. At 18, I thought I knew everything. So off I went, and I don't need help from mom or dad, and I got this. And then a couple years later, it comes full circle, and you realize you don't know everything. And okay, what skill sets do I have? What can I do, right? So if they had come and worked with Kyle for a minute in high school, and we were working with the skills with them, now they can have that to fall back on and say, you know what, working with Kyle in high school was fun. I wonder if he still does that, or can I find somebody else that does that in this field? And now we're bringing in people. It's a long-term play. There is no quick fix. But if we're not getting with them and engaging with them and showing them from the beginning, then how do you expect them to come to us and want to do it? Another problem with it is most of us as Gen Xers, millennials, boomers, it was, I want money. How much can I get? How fast? How do I do this? Gen Z is not at all necessarily interested in the amount of money. It's, what's the paid time off look like? Do I get some kind of a retirement package? Am I going to get insurance so that I can go to the doctor? there's a lot of ancillary benefits that they're looking for that's not just about top dollar. For me, I'll lose all that stuff and roll the dice if I can get $50 an hour instead of 37. Give me the money, I'll figure a way to do it. A lot of what I see is they want the benefits, not necessarily top dollar. And you come into the construction industry, I don't see a lot of companies offering benefits. And that's a huge problem. How do you compete with every other job out there? I mean, I can go to McDonald's and get a 401k, but I come work for you as a retailer or an installer, and now I have absolutely no option. I might even be a misclassified employee. That's a whole nother story. We won't go down that road. And so here's your money, and you get nothing. If you're paying $20 an hour, you need, it's 160 a day, it's 800 for the week. What is it to give someone a week vacation? All in, maybe $1,200. You're going to work that person conservatively, let's say 46 weeks out of the year. You're looking to spread $1,200 over 46 weeks. You can't find a way to build that in. All right. An IRA match on $20 an hour, you're looking at 3%. We can't go bid carpet removal another 10 cents higher so that we can afford to give them the incentive that nobody else is getting. If we don't find a way to give them what they want, why would they come here when they can go get it anywhere else? So we're not offering what they want. It's a total miscalculation on our part of trying to treat them like us. The landscape has changed. That's the end of it. There is no, this is the way we've always done it. It doesn't work. If you stay stagnant, you die. You have to evolve and adapt. My buddy Trask here is a great example. You still got the surfer working for you? Yeah? Okay. So he has a stone shop, and there's a kid that likes to surf. But he might come in early and start working knowing that the waves are going to hit a little later. As long as he gets his work done and puts in his 8 hours, Trask doesn't care if he takes off and goes and surfs in the middle of the day. So now he can leave, he can come back and finish up his day. As long as he gets in his 8 hours and he gets all his work done, he's not causing problems. His manager doesn't like that. Why does he get flex time, right? Like, why can he get this schedule and kind of do what he wants? Because he's this solid, I don't know, probably late 50s, Yeah, he's a boomer. And so that's not the way it was, right? You had to come in, you had to put in your 8 hours, but I'm going to give you 10 and I'm going to work as hard as I can. And now this kid gets to come in, work a couple hours, go surf, right? And then he comes back and he finishes up his day. But it works for him. He's engaged. He loves his job. He's told friends about it, right? Come work for this company. As an installer, I wish I could find a way to do that. If I could let somebody come in and work 3 hours and then go attend to a child in the middle of the afternoon and come back and finish the other 5, I would love to do that. How do you explain that to a homeowner? I haven't figured it out. When I do, I'll let you know. And I don't know that that's a realistic option. But is it an option to do that for a retail store, like sales associate? Maybe. So how can we draw them in and make it more enticing to work with us, as opposed to, it's hard, it sucks, you're going to get hurt, you got to work long hours, and I don't know how to run my business, so I can't pay you because there's just not a lot of money. Boy, sign me up. I'm real excited about this. So we need to go out. We need to advocate for ourselves. We need to go recruit them young. This trade in general, even, I don't care if it's carpet, tile, plank, hardwood, whatever, it can be very sexy. And if you can draw them in at a young age and get them interested by showing them what's possible, it's going to be more interesting because you're building them up and showing them the possibilities, okay? It's not about being able to go and work with them and show them that you can install a rectangle. Let's show them the gauged porcelain tile panel showers and how this one sheet goes in, but you have to manipulate it to get it through a door, and it fits on this wall and it's absolutely perfect. How do we get them into a module and let them cut up some dryback LVP and put it in a herringbone with a border, right? Do the really cool stuff, but work with them to explain that you have the skills to do this. It's not always going to be this. You're going to get a lot of rectangles, and you're going to, you got to go through a lot of the rectangles to get to the good stuff. But if you can do that, then you get to show off, and you get to be a lot more engaged. And I don't see anybody reaching them well. In fact, a lot of job offers I've seen lately from companies are hiring at, desert floors. What does that mean? For who? For what? That's going to attract the 22-year-old that needs a career but doesn't know what he needs? Okay, or hiring helper for flooring installation. Great. What does that mean? What do I do? So the message isn't being portrayed correctly, but it's them that's lazy, right? They don't want to work. No, we don't even know. Well, they don't even know what the option is or why it exists because the message isn't clearly communicated. So maybe they're not the problem, we're the problem. And everyone's going to say, oh, well, no, they are lazy. Okay, well, the boomers were saying it about Gen X. Gen X was saying it about the millennials. We're all saying it about Gen Z. There's nothing new. There's no new problem here. We're just not open to it being done differently. Oh, well, they won't stay off their phones. What are they doing on there? A lot of times they're looking up information to find a better way to do it faster, quicker, and easier than the way you're showing them. It's my way. Do it my way. And I get it, right? You're the boss. Like, let's have you learn my way. But you're not even open to the possibility that they may be able to learn something and show you up within the first week. And that's a very real reality with the information out there. There's a lot of bad information out there. Don't get me wrong. I've been on YouTube. I see what they're talking about with floors and drywall. I don't know. Pick a trade and go on YouTube, and you're going to find good stuff and bad stuff. But they very well may find something that's going to show them the better, quicker, faster, more efficient way that you've been doing it. And you're going to tell them no. Why make it harder, right? Now you're taking something away from them when they're trying to help you because you're so stuck in the way of, well, it's my way or the highway. It needs to be a collaboration. We're all here to help each other. And so you can't just sit here and say they're lazy. It's not going to work. What are you doing to change the problem? What are we doing to work with the next generation of kids so they're not lazy? Right? But we keep on coming up with newer technology to make things easier, but then that's the problem. We don't want to adapt and accept that the changes have been made to allow things to be simpler. I can guarantee you that if we don't find a way to reach the kids and work with them and mentor them and help them learn and see this as a viable option, because it very well is. It pays well. There's a lot of up room. It's a skill that you can't get taken away from you. You have it forever. But it's gone. It went that way. I would love some, but it's so. All right, we need to work with them and get in front of them. But where are we going with that, right? So we have to keep evolving and changing and not deciding that status quo is going to work. So how do we change things? Where can we even go and find talent? We'll propose an idea, and I think it would cost a larger retailer like $100,000 for a year. And I want to steal it from a tech company. What if you had in-house daycare? And you went and you worked with a local nonprofit that dealt with teenage moms or just single moms. I think for a healthy salary of, a daycare worker is probably making 40, maybe 50 if they like run the joint. Okay, so we can go ahead and employ somebody. We can go and get the additional liability insurance. If there's a space next to your retail shop that's open, let's rent that place and we can build a daycare in it and we can start training up 5 single moms, right? And we can find these teen moms that need something. What kind of loyalty would that build by you giving them a hand up instead of a hand out? You're reaching this generation that needs something. And honestly, if you had 5 people that you could train up as an installer for your business, that $100,000 is going to be nothing on your bottom line. It's going to lead to profit. One, maybe it would take 2, but probably one of them could afford to pay for that in the amount of work they would do in a year. So now we're reaching our community. We're reaching a younger generation. We're giving them a viable option. We're working with them to build them up. And we're helping our business. But we want to go and say that it's not possible to work with them. They don't want anything. But what are you doing to go and work with them? How are you building out your business to reach them and make sure that you have the ability to see them as a significant part of your operation? Is there anybody that has, like, I don't know, we'll say 18 to 25? Is there, how many do you have? Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you think they would be there without your son? Was he was the catalyst to bring them all in, right? So, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. But it's great. I want, but it's what I want to focus on is, so your son was born into the business essentially, right? Like it's kind of like it was there, it was an option for him, but they're coming in through him. Would you have been able to attract these kids on your own, do you think? Or was your business set up in a way that without your son, that kind of wouldn't happen? Okay, and so now he's the one building it in. But I think Trask is kind of in the same boat with his son Rogue. Like it's Rogue that's bringing them in because he's younger and hipper, and he's the big TikTok guy, and they all see him on there and whatnot. And I think that's kind of my point: is we're not set up to go and reach them, and we're not doing a good job of doing it and getting in front of them. So it's. Mm-hmm. I don't like that word. I don't like helper. I'm gonna so here's I think it's very limiting. I think that's one of the negatives in like this industry is you want to call somebody a helper. A helper can use a tape measure and they can go and make cuts and they can move material. I prefer the word apprentice because now I should be providing you a path to excel, right? I should be able to, as a business, I should have a clearly laid out job path. And there's another problem, right? We're going to hire these guys or gals and we're not even presenting them with a job path. It's, hey, I need to hire you to go do this thing, right? Here, move these materials, go do this. If I go work at McDonald's, I show up, there's probably a book this thick. Here's how you do the frying machine. Here's how you do the burger. Here's how you do the cash register. Here's how you run the drive-through, right? There's systems and processes for everything. But we're bringing them in and just saying, go do whatever. Well, how do I get ahead? How do I get a raise? How do I become the next level? And we're not even set up to give them that clearly defined path of if you can do X, Y, and Z, you're here. And when you learn 1, 2, and 3, you're going to be here, and then you're here, and you're here, and you're here, and now you're a full-fledged installer. Mm-hmm. It's good for them because they can clearly see how they advance. It's good for you because now there's no questions. When you can do these things, you're this valuable to me, and here's the compensation package, and here's how you get there, right? Like you've clearly defined how they can proceed in their career path, and there's no questions about it. Everyone's on the same page. It's not coming to you and saying, can I get a raise? Well, for what? You didn't do anything. Well, I learned how to do this one thing. That's not valuable enough, right? Correct. So we're not, once again, it comes down to, are they really lazy? Or do we just suck at communicating with them? Correct. So if you want to look at a standard corporate business, I don't foresee a problem because they're set up to make sure that there's management training in-house and you can do all these things. As from a perspective of our flooring industry, we're a hot mess because there isn't for some reason we think we're different. Oh, we're the flooring industry. We don't, we operate on our own level. If you went and formed an LLC, an S Corp, a corporation, I don't care what you formed, you filled out paperwork to be a business. Why aren't you running it as a business? Why is there not clearly defined roles and systems and processes of how everything's handled? So can they be successful management? Sure. In this industry currently, we don't even have great management at a lot of places. Rachel does a great job with what she does. Yeah, but that's a problem, right? You've had to step up and take over because the leadership from the owners is lacking, and you have helped grow this company and taken the sales team and really motivated them, and you're in a position to do that. But you've put the systems and processes in place so that you can continue to excel, and that's helped everybody excel. But how many places are there where the staff is lost and there isn't anybody giving them direction? So it's not good if there's not direction, but how are you going about finding it, setting it up, establishing it, and nurturing it. We got to feed people, and I don't think anyone's getting fed. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent. Yes. I, it's perfect. Why wouldn't we want to be a team, right? Why are we going to send the same guy out with the same guy every day? I get it. Like, you want to have that working relationship, but honestly, if everyone's operating from the same playbook, it doesn't matter which installer I put an apprentice with. They should be going to the job and being able to see what that guy does. Once they're trained and they know what's going on, they should be able to watch a guy for 5 minutes and jump in and know what he needs, because they're going to see where it's going. But then to have the, foreman or field manager being able to go around and mentor them and teach them skills and jump in and say, you know what, hey, let me work with you for 10 minutes, show you this skill or that. I think that's great. And that's what's needed. But a lot of times it's a single installer like myself, and it's move, I'll just do it myself. Well, when you're not teaching somebody and you keep doing that, let's say it's a 5-minute task and you do it every day, right? There's 25 minutes a day and nearly 2 hours a month, so there's 24 hours a year. I could have spent 2 hours just teaching them right the first time, and I would have gained 20 hours in my year to go do something else. So we have to spend the time to mentor them. You lose up front for a big reward on the back end. Invest in them. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do think there's a division in this industry. Right? There's manufacturers, there's retailers, there's installers, and then even within it, you get into the retailers, and most people have all subcontractors, and so you're kind of in this realm of like, this is my sales staff. These guys go do the installs. They do their own thing. Keep them over here. And the installers get frustrated by the retailers and the salespeople, and then the salespeople are frustrated by the installers, and no one's communicating. When all you really have to do is sit down and say, if your salespeople would spend some time with some installers and learn how to install, kind of see how it works. They don't have to know everything. They need to understand the process. But the installer needs to understand the sales process just as much. Well, it's not going to hurt them to come in and check out what it's like to have a walk-in client come in, and what it's like to walk them through. It's not easy. I sell and I install. Like, I have to do all of it, and it was hard to learn and make happen, but I understand more about why there's conflict. And so now we're kind of off topic, but it all relates, right? We want to be able to build this next generation up into something and give them the options they need to be successful. And that's going to require finding them, mentoring them, and not writing anybody off immediately. Stop thinking they're lazy. Find out what it is that motivates them, where they want to go. Yes, it's very hard to find somebody to come do a physical job. I get that. But if you're giving up and writing them all off, now we're done. I'd rather sit there and go through 20 of them to find the one that's going to succeed. And once you start getting that team, as you have, right? You had your son, and now you got a bunch. you start building this culture and they want to be a part of it and around it, and you can all push it forward. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's a learned skill, though. Patience is a learned skill, right? And that's where I'm saying that the the way they were raised did not make them have to have that level. It's hard to do it. You're not being handed the 22-year-old that you were 20 years ago. You're kind of getting like a 5 to 8-year-old on that level, and you're going to have to. It sucks. Yeah. We get there. Patience on both ends, right? All right. Any questions? No. Yes. Michelle. Mm-hmm. I don't know that it does. I mean, maybe. I mean, I mentioned. I think it's going to depend on the position, but honestly, some things may not be able to change in that way, and that's not a problem. There's going to be somebody that it fits, I think. So I don't know how I split a day up, or could you have two part-time crews? I mean, I guess, but are you going to be handing that off? Like, I don't. You're right. Some things kind of have to be the way they are. I don't know. Rogue, what do you got for me? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I find out what's going to work for them, right? Like what's going to be different to get them where you want to be. I don't believe it's laziness. I really don't. I think that's just a cop out to not have to put forth the effort to make it work. You had a comment or a question? Meeting each other where you're at. You're understanding them, they're understanding you. We're coming together, we're building a team, a community, and we're gonna make it happen as opposed to my way or the highway. And that's what I was taught, and it's not right. I didn't enjoy being slave driven anywhere, right? When I got a say and I got to help participate, everything went a lot smoother. All right. Thank you. Very much appreciate all of you coming out. I'm Kyle Hedin. I do the Floor Academy podcast. Find it on your favorite listening, streaming, anything. And if you enjoyed this, go over to the Stone Expo stage in an hour. Head over to flooracademypod.com. Check out everything I got going on over there. And I very much appreciate you coming out. Thank you.